Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath, the Righteous Enhanced Edition. We are at the Grey Garrison and we are ready to enter the room where Minagho and the Wardstone resides. As soon as you step into the chamber, your vision seems to darken and your knees buckle. You struggle to keep your balance. The air in here is laden with the power coming from the stone. Suddenly, your head is filled with voices, screaming, whispering, cackling, threatening, voices pleading for help, shrieking curses and taunts. You blink, and the illusion passes.
Congratulations. You made it all the way here. This is it. Your precious Wardstone. But what are you planning to do now, I could kill you where you stand, but wouldn't it be nice if you could die in battle like heroes? No. I want you to die in despair, scrabbling around like rats in the blighted ruins of your city, blind and broken, your flesh scabbed and seeping, and every moment knowing precisely what was done to you.
Pleasant.
Sounds terrifying, except that's how we've been living for generations.
There isn't a soul that can resist the temptations of the abyss. Even a stone can be turned. I'm not joking. Your precious Wardstone, weakened from the injury inflicted by Discari, has almost succumbed to my charms. Soon the whole barrier around the Worldwound, the gift of your useless goddess, will be a weapon of the abyss. Just a little more and boom. Every city with one of these eyesores stuck in the middle of it, from Canabras to Nerosian, will turn into smoking craters, and all the mortals into red sludge beneath our hooves.
Indeed.
So you have a choice. Especially you, my pet. Kiss me on my dainty hoof. Pledge your loyalty to Baphomet. And when the world falls, its ruins shall be yours.
Who are you?
You've already forgotten me. You mortals have awfully short memories. Even shorter than your little lives. Staunton, sweetums. Don't you want to introduce me to your friends properly? No? Well, I'd better do it myself. I am Minagho, Lily-2 and faithful servant of Baphomet, and leader of his armies. The city is mine now. I'm just starting to settle in, get things just how I like them. But once I'm finished, I promise you, the results will be simply to die for.
Literally?
And it was such a charming little place until you sullied it with your presence. It had such lovely boulevards, quiet and shaded. You took those away from me, and I shan't forgive you for that.
They've done much worse things than spoil the promenades. All the people they've killed.
Yes, of course, you're right. I grieve for the common folk as well.
You feel righteous fury swell within you. How dare this demon besmirch the ground of this beautiful world with her hooves? A world created by the gods and cultivated by mortals. And these cultists, how dare they betray all that is sacred in this world and join the forces of the foulest evil? Can't they repent and redeem themselves? Or had they followed the path of evil past the point of no return? The Wardstone seems to sense your thoughts. The chamber grows slightly brighter. What are you doing to the stone?
Well, quite what am I doing to it? Probably the same thing I did to many of your comrades. Sweetly and tenderly persuading it to abandon the mortals and join our side.
Prepare to fight to the death, demon! We won't let that happen.
You feel a sudden rush of wild rage, and with it comes a feeling of monstrous, unbridled destructive power. It is like the power you felt in the shield maze when you were confronting Savamelech, but now it feels more fully fledged, more conscious. Your victory celebrations are a little premature, demon. Echoing the holy flame erupting from your hand, the light also gets brighter and brighter until it floods the chamber. You hear the voices again, stronger now. They repeat your words like a choir of angels.
Hey, no eyes! Didn't you tell us that heaven had turned its back on us and no one would come to our aid?
Don't listen to her. The fiend wants us to lose all hope. She won't succeed.
I'm done with this shit! I only followed this hoofed menace because I thought the Crusaders had it, and there was no other way to protect my family. But now I see that there is hope. I won't bow before these heinous idols ever again. If they kill me, at least I'll die a decent death.
Yes! Return to our side, friends! Have courage! We will welcome you back, and heaven never abandoned you, no matter what this deceiver told you.
Turncoat, I'll cut out your heart.
We'll see how tough you really are. We let you frighten us once, but it won't happen again.
This battle we would never ever have been able to win if it weren't for the fact that we have the light of heaven. But I think we have to lose first. I don't remember exactly. There was something.
This was
Yeah,
unexpected.
we have to lose first.
I'm tired of playing around now. You want to know what will happen when I'm done with the Wardstone? Here's a little demonstration.
The demoness whispers a spell, and a wave of darkness sweeps through the chamber. Your companions wince in pain, but it is nothing compared to what you feel. Thousands of voices once again burst into your mind, drowning you in their moans, screams, and sobs. Pain rocks through your skull. Your evil spells won't stop a righteous army.
Iomedae is with us!
Yes, yes. Keep telling yourself that.
The roar of voices blends into an unbearable wall of screaming. Your vision goes dark.
Praise Iomedae, you woke up. Healing your wounds was easy, but you were unconscious for so long I was starting to worry we'd lost you.
What happened?
We couldn't stand up to the demoness. Her spells were too strong. It's all right. We'll handle it somehow. You blacked out, but Staunton and I managed to get you here to the Defender's Heart. It used to be a tavern, but now it's our headquarters. We're gathering our forces here, and we're preparing to strike back.
What is the situation in the city?
Bad, but not hopeless. We're constantly getting news, and new sources of resistance keep springing up in the districts where everyone seemed to be dead. The survivors are gathering here. You should see them. Their faces, their eyes burning with determination. The city is destroyed, but our resistance is not broken. We will keep fighting.
What do you plan to do next?
You heard what the demon said. They're going to desecrate the Wardstone and blow up the whole barrier around the Worldwound. That would be an even worse disaster than the Worldwound's expansion before the Second Crusade. Not only Canabris, but every city with the Wardstone will be destroyed, including the capital. We can't allow that no matter what. We will retake it, even destroy it if we must. Iomedae's gift must not become a weapon of the Abyss.
I found a cultist dispatch in the dungeons. Seems they are holed up in the Tower of Estrad.
Demons have been filling Canabris with their spies and infiltrators for a long time. Unfortunately, I don't have enough people to attack the place right now. At least not blindly. I'd be grateful if you snuck in there and scouted out the situation. But just scouting. Don't be a hero.
Tell me about the Wardstone. Why is it so important?
The Wardstones are a gift of Iomedae. Created personally by her herald, a mighty angel, and a general of the celestial armies. The Wardstones keep the Worldwound from expanding. They stand along the border of the territory controlled by the demons, creating a barrier to keep them inside. The Canabris obelisk was the first to be placed. It is the key to the whole barrier. We cannot leave it in the hands of those monsters from the Abyss.
Can I help you in any way?
First of all, we need to decide what to do with the stone once we get it. What I'm about to say is classified. A traveler came to the city recently. A blind elf calling himself the Storyteller. He insisted he be allowed to examine the Wardstone, and he raised the alarm when his study was finished. Even before the demon attack, he had found some damage or flaw in the stone. Prelate Hulrune dismissed his words as nonsense, borderline blasphemy. But between you and me, the prelate's opinion isn't worth much. I think the Storyteller knew what he was talking about. We could use his advice right now, if only we knew where he was. I remember the Storyteller spent a lot of time talking to Staunton, a dwarf from my unit. You saw him during the demon attack. The elf asked him about the history of the Crusades. Maybe the Storyteller told Staunton something about where we could find him if anything happened. There's another problem. After the attack, the demons began to gather their forces at the Grey Garrison. It'll be even harder to take them with a head-on assault. But I once heard soldiers talking about a secret entrance to the garrison. Trouble is, I have no idea where to look for it. While you explore the city, please keep your eyes open, in case you find something we can use. And one last thing. The Eagle Watch has lost a lot of soldiers recently. Some were killed, but others simply haven't been seen since the attack. In the chaos that is now Canabris, it's next to impossible to confirm anything for sure. One of the missing fighters is Jernaugh Aldori, a new recruit in the Watch. She got along well with Sela, and she often went drinking with her. I honestly thought Sela and Jernaugh had died together. But now Seela's returned with you and there's no sign of Jernaugh. If you learn anything of her whereabouts when you're out in the city, please report back.
Well, I guess that's a lot of things we have to deal with then.
May the goddess help you. We're still fighting, which means that Kenabra still hasn't fallen. If you come across any groups in the city that can fight, send them here to the Defender's Heart. We'll need every fighter we can muster for the final assault. Yes, one more thing. If you're in the area, check out this address. It's our house. Mine and Anevia's. Well, it was our house. If the building is still standing, open the hidden compartment in the kitchen. It's filled with supplies for a rainy day. You can take whatever you find. You have more need of it.
Thank you. Okay, so we've leveled up. That is good. That means we are now finally level 3. So the first thing we'll do is level up our self and our party companions. Let's start with that. Of course, we are going to continue on Oracle and take 4 points here. And what was the final thing? Law Nature was the final thing that I wanted to do. Law Nature is useful in terms of if I need to be cooking. As for our level 3 feat, we are going to take Shake It Off. As for our Revelation, we need to take Friends to Animals. That'll give us all the Summon Nature spells, and all animals within 30 feet of me will receive a bonus on all saving throws equal to our Charisma modifier, which is going to be quite high. So with an animal companion heavy party, this is pretty nice, since Cal is going to become a melee combatant rather than a crossbow shooting coward who stands at the back. But currently, I think it's best that he stands at the back because of his very low armor class, which is going to change eventually. As for our level 1 spell, I think Unbreakable Heart is the one we should take here. So yeah, that's Cal leveled up. We can deal with the animal companions later on. So let's do Seela next. We will take Paladin again. Knowledge World, I'm not sure if that's... yeah, it's fine. Let's take 2 points in Perception so that we have that maxed out on her. As for her feat, again, we will take Shake It Off. Now, just to be clear, Shake It Off, when you are adjacent to one or more allies who also have this feat, you gain a +1 bonus on saving throw per such ally up to a maximum of 4. So it's pretty decent if everyone has that. And with the animal companions, yep. For Mercy, we'll go with Fatigued, and we'll take Exhausted as soon as we can. Next up after Seela is, let me see here, Lan, it would appear. We'll continue on the Divine Hound Hunter here. Athletics and Mobility, definitely. And Law Nature and Perception. As for the feat, we are going to take Boon Companion. That means that the abilities of our animal companion are calculated as though our class level were 4 levels higher, which is very decent. We'll take Precise Shot. And for his spell, we will take Aspect of the Falcon, which is decent for competence bonus on perception checks, ranged attacks, and also the critical multiplier becomes better. So that's a decent spell to have. After Lan, we are going to have to deal with Camellia. She's not going to be a part of the group, so I don't have any particular level up desires for her, so I'll just go through the motions here. Let's continue with Law Nature there. And Weapon Focus Rapier would be good on her. And now, finally, we do have our animal companions. So, for Zethlorian, mobility and perception. And then I think we need to take combat reflexes so we can get seize the moment later on. Now, the nice thing about Divine Hound Hunter is that all of his teamwork feats are also automatically applied to the pet. So the level up feat table is a little bit different on Quadrotus. So instead of taking combat reflexes, we are actually going to take Die Hard here. Which means that when the hit point total is below 0 but not killed, Quadrotus can fight on for one more round as if disabled. And that takes care of the level ups. Now, we do have ample stuff to do here at the tavern. So, let's see here. There's going to be a bit of conversations going on here. Wait, do we have anything in our personal chest? No. Hey, wait. Mind if I bend your ear about something? Anevia is outside your door, leaning casually against a shelf. So, here's the first and most important thing. Beth gave you a crucial mission. I get that, and I know you'll get the job done. I saw you in action. But here's the rub. By sending you out on an errand, we are weakening our defenses here. If they come at us while you're gone, I don't know if we'll be able to fight them off. Do you want me to stay here and guard the tavern? You what? No. Your task is far too important. You can't just hole up here all cozy like waiting for the demons to knock on the door. We need to take the fight to them. But if those freaks try to make a move on this place, Beth will send a runner to get you. If that happens, you leg it back here, alright? Because if you don't, you'll be coming back to an ash pile. Got it? When do you think the demons will attack next? Your guess is as good as mine. It might not be here. They could attack the whole damn city. Those vermin know they've lost the upper hand and that we're going to push back hard. If things kick off here, you should know, after the attack some things could be changed beyond recognition. So, if you've got any business that needs taking care of, you'd better do it soon. That tells us in between the lines that there's a soft timer lock that we need to finish up the things in the city. Which, for instance, in my last playthrough when I did the Lich, I did not manage to visit the library to get the storyteller out from there or something. I don't remember. It was one thing that I didn't manage to finish before the tavern was attacked. It happened very quickly, so the less we rest, the better it is. But everything seems clear so far, so what else do you wish to discuss? So, the rift that damned beetle left with its scythe? Yeah, well, it cut the city into two, and it's kinda difficult to get across. My scouts tell me there's a halfway decent place to set up a crossing in Market Square. Not that any of them tried it to make sure, but if you've got a mind to go across, and I think you're gonna have to eventually, you might want to give the square a once over. Well, thank you for the warning, Anevia. I'll see you later then. Later. Watch yourself out there. And next up is Staunton. The dwarf resembles an abandoned citadel, one whose high crumbling walls are still holding fast, but whose empty lightless windows make it clear that all inside is dead. Oh, it's you. Good work back there in the Grey Garrison. Name's Staunton Vhane. You've heard rumors about me? His face, which looks like it has never known anything as carefree as a smile, grimaces. Just so you know, everything people say about me, it's true. What do people say about you? They say that I'm a traitor, as bad as a Rielu Vorlesh. That I'm a disgrace, even among the ranks of the condemned. That Queen Galfrey should never have spared me. That I belong on the gallows. Why did they hate you so much? You really don't know? Staunton gives you a long, morose look, and sighs. I'm the reason why the Crusade forces are holed up in fortresses on the edge of the Worldwound instead of bringing the fight to the demons. We used to have a foothold in the Wound, the mighty unassailable city of Dresden. We used to have it until it fell, and all because of my stupidity. I gave the enemy our main citadel. I was tried. They wanted to execute me, and rightly so, but the Queen intervened. She said that I should live and fight in order to undo what I had done. So that's how I live. Decade after decade, fighting in the condemned. The dwarf shrugs. As you can see, I have fixed nothing and I have earned no one's forgiveness. Are you going to spit in my face too? It wouldn't surprise me. I hope you earn forgiveness. Thank you. From the depths of my soul, I thank you. But I haven't had hope for a long, long time. A whole city fell because of you. How is that possible? What do you mean, how? The knight glares at you from beneath his furrowed brows. If you don't trust the word of a condemned, go ask somebody else, like my little brother, Joran. And if you still don't believe it, it's it to me. But if you're about to ask me to recount the story of my disgrace for the 1000th time, don't. You really don't have any friends? I couldn't have survived this long if I were completely alone. Joran, my little brother, he keeps me going. He's never abandoned me. Everyone else shies away from me like they might catch what I've got. Even fighters in the Condemned console themselves by thinking, I got stripped of my rank, but at least I'm not Staunton. Commander Tirabade seems to be the only person in the whole army who remembers that I'm a soldier and not a drudge. She has no qualms about taking me into battle. She's had some mud flung at her in the past, or so I hear, so that's why she tries to keep an open mind about people. So surprised that she's the only one to hold on to her sense of reason in this farce. So many years in the Condemned. Surely you have paid your penance by now? That's not up to me to decide. My life is in the Queen's hands. He falls silent for a moment, and then in a trembling voice he adds, The Condemned isn't the worst part. All these years I have prayed to Torag for forgiveness. Countless times I've gone to his priests, countless times I've kneeled before his altar. If only the father of dwarven kind would answer my prayers just once. Not to restore what I've lost, but just to tell me that I'm still one of his children. But it seems he doesn't give a damn about me. What can I expect from mere mortals when my own god doesn't think I deserve redemption? If Torag has renounced you, perhaps you should turn to another deity. Sarenrae, for instance, teaches that everyone who repents sincerely should be forgiven. No, I couldn't, Staunton interrupts you. You can't choose your god, just like you can't choose your family, your race, or your homeland. If your father renounces you, you can't just choose another father. The same story with Torag. I need to talk to the elf who calls himself the Storyteller. Do you know where I can find him? The Storyteller? Staunton strokes his beard in thought. Strange old fellow, that one. He used to sit with me for hours, asking about all sorts of things. He never offered judgment or comfort. He just listened. At first I wanted him and his questions as far away from me as possible, but later I realized that talking to him did ease my burden a little. I hope he's alive and well. He's completely blind and feeble too, so if he's alone in the city, well, you probably know what that means. I do know one place he might be. Look for him in the Blackwing. It's a library. Here, I'll show you where it is on the map. Don't know what use a library is to a blind elf, but he loved the place. He would sit there day and night. Thank you, Staunton. I will see you later. Go on then. Maybe we'll see each other again. I will be right back. There we go. I might need to pause again, but thankfully the pause is brief for you guys, so that shouldn't be a major issue. Let's talk to Horgus next. 1,000 gold coins for you, just as promised. You helped me get back to the surface, and I duly paid you for escorting me. Horgus Gwerm always keeps his word. Now, speaking of our future cooperation, Horgus looks at you with unvarnished disapproval, his arms folded across his chest, his foot tapping impatiently. I have a job that would be perfect for someone like you. Naturally, I pay generously for your services. Wait, what do you mean, a job for someone like me? For an adventurer ready to sell their soul for booze and then lie down drunk in the gutter? Or do you think you're somehow different? A travelling knight, perhaps, noble of heart but without a coin to your name? Horgus sizes you up critically, then sighs and shrugs. You seem a reliable enough ally to me, and you did get me out of those mongrel caves. So why should I care what you do with my money once you've got it? Horgus seems like one of those people who think the entire world owes them something. However, you hear notes of hysteria beneath his smug arrogance. It is as though he's really quite nervous, but taking great pains to conceal it. Noble birth does not give you the right to behave badly. I would ask you refrain from such statements in the future. Horgus puts his hands on his hips. Oh, really? How impudent. No one dares tell Horgus Gwerm how to address the rabble. So what's this job of yours involve? You shall be my bodyguard. You see, I have good reason to return to my mansion here in Kenabres. I still have... well, it doesn't matter, it's none of your business. My mansion is a breathtaking building with a large garden in the wealthy part of the city. Even before the demons attacked, every thief and fraudster in the city had tried to get inside one way or another. I shudder to imagine the state it is in now. I have little hope that my guards were able to hold the mansion during the attack, and I expect the servants fled when they saw the demons. Only Abadar knows what's happened there since. Therefore, I would ask that you meet me at my mansion and guard me there until I complete my business. I already asked the local paladins for help, but they've no desire to set foot outside this tavern. Damn cowards and traitors, that's what they are. Also, please, do take Camellia with you. I trust that girl more than the rest of your gang. She is of noble birth after all. What kind of reward are we talking about? 1,000 gold coins, Horgus replies without hesitation. Double the reward and I'll think about it. Several tense moments pass in silence, then Horgus's face relaxes. Deal. Deal. Marvelous, most excellent. Horgus's face relaxes, smoothing over a few of the tense lines. I'll proceed to my mansion at once and wait for you there. Meanwhile, you needn't worry. I know the city like the back of my hand. But do hurry, unless you want me to lower your reward. And yes, I have to pause quickly again. There we go. Next up is Gemyl Hawks, who is an interesting fellow. A strange figure towers over the bar, a huge ungainly man with skin so milky white that his blue veins are visible even from a distance. His bald head is equal parts lumpy and pitted, and blood-filled eyes stare impassively out at you from beneath his pale brows. The glass in the albino's large, clumsy hand looks dangerously delicate, as if one twitch of those calloused fingers would be enough to crush it. A gold medallion with a tankard gleams around his neck. What'll it be? The medallion you're wearing, that's a sacred symbol, isn't it? Are you a cleric of Caden Kalian? I'm a tavern keeper. Best in the city. The best there's ever been. And I pray to the best god there is. Who are you? The albino slowly takes your measure with his red eyes and finally with a gentle sigh says, Gemyl Hawks. Vampire. Are you really a vampire? Gemyl gives you a long look of reproach and then grudgingly answers, no. Talkative fellow. How did you end up in the Crusader City? How did anyone end up here? How did you? Or them? With a huge hand, the tavern keeper gestures at the ragtag group assembled in the room. The world is big, but still there isn't a place for everyone. People who no longer have a life anywhere else, they end up here. Any news in the city? The albino looks around. There are demons everywhere? And you showed up. I see you're not one for talking. Gemyl gives you a long, mournful look and says nothing. Are there any places in the city worth visiting? If you mean places that normal people usually stay well away from, then there are plenty, like the Pitaxian wine cellar. Gemyl pauses for effect, like the name of the place alone should make you quiver in fear. It once belonged to a Pitaxian trading house. Then King Irovetti came to power in Pitax and property started changing hands. Soon after, the cellar's shop assistant was found in a ditch. Not all of him, mind, just his head. Numerian gangsters had taken possession of the place. They wanted to sell something stronger than wine on the street. And they ended up on the gallows. Then King Irovetti's number was up, so now the store stands empty and unclaimed. People say a headless ghost wanders the place at night, moaning ghoulishly, "Ooh." After coming to the end of this story, unusually long by his standards, the tavern keeper takes a swig from his tankard. Just don't ask me how he makes any noise with no head. I wasn't there. I just tell it like I heard it. Okay, show me what you have. So, we can sell stuff here. I don't think I want to sell to him though. I think I want to sell to Joran outside. Does he have anything of interest though? Also the neophyte? Nah. That one is pretty nice, but it's very expensive. This one is really good. No, not really. We do want the bag of holding though, so let's sell a couple of items with him. All of the junk. The lockpick I want to keep. Did I put anything in here that I should keep? I wish the lockpicks were kept in a different tab. No, that's fine. Here's where I think the lockpicks should be, like together with the first aid kits and stuff like that. The diamond dust. No, we need that. You can get the inflict wounds scrolls. I don't really need those. Potion resist cold, protection from cold. You can get that. Evil and chaos. Critical wounds, sure. Protection from good, don't need that. Same with protection from law. Remove sickness, that's not really that good compared to cure disease. We want to keep the ingredients. I want to sell the weapons and stuff like that outside, so let's pick up the bag of holding and deal. Geesh, 1,000 per lockpick set. Okay, next up. Yeah, Vizali. A stout old man with a fuzzy grey beard mumbles a prayer. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tavern, but determination is stamped upon his haggard face. What can I do for you? He just sells things, and he's like the resident cleric. I want a quick save before I talk to Indarah, because that's a thing. An imposing young Oread is surrounded by a crowd of crusaders who are hanging on to her every word. I hope this example clearly illustrates the difference between Distka legionnaires from the last war and of the crusaders. The perfection of form and spirit they were imbued with during creation turned them into parts of a well-balanced war machine. Not a ragtag bunch of individuals, but a united whole. Now, tell me again why I'm supposed to be impressed by your reckless assaults where everyone is fighting for their ego and for the right to beat their peers to a swift but pointless heroic sacrifice? Some of the crusaders grumble unhappily, but it is clear that they are captivated by the woman's words. The only exception is a scraggly and dishevelled halfling monk whose puffy black eye gives him away as a brawler and a troublemaker. He enthusiastically pushes forward and tries to engage, but one of his friends swiftly jabs him in the back with an elbow, making the poor fellow pause to catch his breath. It looks like we got ourselves a student of warfare. The woman gives you a suspicious look and raises an eyebrow. Were your words meant to recognize my achievements, or to start a fight the way Mandevian crusaders usually do? One of the crusaders angrily curls his fists tightly and retorts with a burst of passion. If those gists of yours, or whatever, had come for us, we'd had their guts for garters. You think we've never fought a mighty adversary before? The soldier's stern facade cannot fully conceal his relish. He clearly plans to enjoy this confrontation. The crusaders around him look upon their exotic opponent with a mixture of irritation and piqued interest. The woman chuckles before cutting off her interlocutor. I would love to see you storm a 60-foot-tall walking castle shaped like a gigantic elephant that carries siege fortifications on its back. And I'll have you know these fortifications were defended by Distkan priest craftsmen armed with demon-bound war machines. They used the enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. The woman gives the people around her a triumphant look and adjusts her clothes with pointed nonchalance. Her voice takes on a lecturer's tone. You should not argue with someone who happens to be the most authoritative researcher on the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. The woman looks at you and flashes an amused smile. The lecture is over. Do my esteemed listeners have any questions? You're wrong to treat the Crusaders with such disdain. Allow me to explain. A debate? Oh, I would be happy to prove that the current conflict can't hold a candle to the last war of Distka. Very well. The last war of Distka was waged using a significantly greater number of troops. Both sides actively relied on reinforcements from allied planes, and their strategic planning was perfected through no fewer than 7 rounds of intensive design. None of the above applies to this war of yours. Compared to the Distka, we are but stone club-wielding kobolds. I would like to conclude my thesis with a few words of wise counsel from Dagon, an advisor to the Pharaoh of Forgotten Plagues. I doubt you will comprehend the true genius of his statement, but here it is, nevertheless. A gadfly sees the ox. The ox pays no heed to the gadfly, but crimson fever takes them both. The events of the past are shrouded in legend, but the fate of the world is being decided here and now. That is what you fail to grasp. The earnestness on the faces of those around you has taken away Indarah's panache, encouraging her to backtrack and stumble over words. Of course, I'm not trying to diminish the importance of current events. What I'm trying to say is that from the standpoint of history, and particularly the history of warfare... She falls silent, fixedly staring at the unfriendly eyes of her audience. The true importance of these developments won't become obvious until later. Indarah offers a pretentious dismissal. As a scholar, I cannot deny that there is a certain truth beneath your skeptical statements. History is a complex discipline rooted in fact and an evidentiary base that grows ever more meager the farther the described period is from the present moment. Of course, if I were to argue in bad faith, the way Crusaders embellish their tales of slaying a single Brimmerak by adding a dozen Baelors, for example, I could win this debate. But I am above such things, and therefore I am forced to admit that your skepticism is not entirely without merit. I am sure you would have been able to expound on your arguments in a longer discussion. Indarah nods with obvious relief. I am glad we both understand this limitation. It is always a pleasure to face a worthy opponent, even if the debate takes place in a grimy tavern, perhaps especially because of that. Indarah unbuckles her sword belt and hands you the weapon. This is a worthy blade. It will be of use not only for the strong, but also for the wise. And this is where I bid you farewell. Before the end of the day, I was planning to observe how winged demons use pack tactics to drive their prey like herds of livestock. It is about time I got back to my research. The hint of a smile graces Indarah's lips when she sees disappointment in the eyes of many crusaders around her. Stay safe. Now, the Claw of Distka is a pretty decently good weapon. I've used this for a long time in my previous playthroughs as a weapon, so this one is really nice. Do we need to talk to anyone else? I think there is one more we need to talk to before we have to head down into the basement. Yeah, we have to talk to Jernaugh. A young man in well-worn travelling clothes and a simple wooden symbol of Erastil on his chest is efficiently cutting a linen robe into strips to use as bandages. Despite his visible exhaustion, he works with zeal, singing some tune about red braids and ripe sheaves of wheat under his breath. He raises his warm chestnut-coloured eyes to you. Are you one of the Crusaders? Thank you for defending those of us whose talents lie off the battlefield. I am Jernaugh, servant of Erastil. Pleased to meet you. What are you doing? I only took my holy orders recently, so my god has only bestowed a little of his power upon me as of yet. I am sorry to say that the number of wounded fighters in this tavern is far beyond my power to heal. But there's a reason people say have faith in the gods, but look to yourself first. I may not be able to help the wounded with magic, but I can at least cut up bandages. You from around here? No, I was just passing through Canabras. I was sailing down that old man of ours, the Great Selin River, to a village by the name of Chilly Creek. I happened to land in the city on the eve of the festival, and I'm ashamed to say I decided to stay for a day to enjoy myself. But I ended up staying in the city longer than I'd bargained for. Chilly Creek? Where's that? It's a small fishing village. It's not even marked on some maps, but people do live there. What they don't have is a priest. They have no one to heal their wounds, no one to offer prayers for a good catch, no one to give their dead a dignified burial. And the Worldwound is a stone's throw away, so I'll be setting sail for Chilly Creek to serve my god and my people. Once we've held Canabras, I'll be going there. If, by the grace of the good gods, we all survive this, you should come and visit me sometime. You'll find the village here, on the bank of the river. The priest marks Chilly Creek on your map. Aren't you, a young and inexperienced cleric, afraid to go to the border of the Worldwound? I won't lie, I am afraid, but what can I do? Those villagers are simple people like you and me. Every day of their short lives is spent doing hard, honest work. That is exactly the kind of life I want, something simple but meaningful. If I had centuries ahead of me like elves and some other races do, I might have spared some 50 years or so to travel around the world, the young man says with a smile. Or maybe even 100, why not? But I don't have time to spare, so I want to spend my short life in the place where I'm needed the most, even if it is dangerous. Especially if it is dangerous. I could use the help of a cleric. Jernaugh makes a helpless gesture. Erastil knows I'd be glad to help you, but it is no use. My spells are depleted and I have no training in potions or scrolls. See this robe I'm cutting up for bandages? It's the second to last one. Well, I'll bid you good luck with tearing up more of them then. May Erastil watch over you. Yeah, and I forgot there is actually one more person we need to talk to. Forn Haze. A tall, fragile-looking elf sits in front of you, eyes closed. He's pale as a ghost, his arm wrapped in a blood-stained bandage. Probably one ripped up by Jernaugh. You spot other bandages on his body under his clothes. But even in such a miserable state, he manages to keep calm. Raising his eyes to meet yours, he says faintly, "I am Forn Haze, at your service." His pale lips are reddened by blood, but you see no signs of pain or fear in his grey eyes. "Do you need help?" After giving you a cold, intense look, he shakes his head. "Do not trouble yourself on my behalf. Local healer tended to me. Besides, I come from a resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wounds and the poison delivered through them. I am Cal, you can trust me. I might be able to help you." After a brief pause, Forn says, "It would be impolite to refuse such a direct and friendly offer. Who is your quarry here in Mendel?" "I was hunting a fugitive, a Descarite by the name of Kaelessa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I managed to catch up to her in Kenabris, and I wounded her. Then demons appeared, and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued and couldn't free her soul from its service to her dark masters." He expresses no anger or hatred as he speaks, only compassionate sorrow. "I am sorry for your misfortune. I hope things will turn out differently next time." He purses his lips. "There is no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. We gain a deeper understanding of the world than other races, and we learn our lessons better than anyone. And that goes for learning from our mistakes as well. I survived, which means I will be more prepared when I next meet her. I wish to aid you in your hunt." Forn covers his eyes wearily. "I thank you, but this is my mission, and I'm used to facing all manners of terrors on my own. I do appreciate your willingness to help. If you happen to meet Kaelessa, take caution. She has turned many innocent souls to the path of evil, and darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that. It is warped. The agate skin, the malicious stare of her blood-red eyes, the bestial teeth. She's more monster than elf at this point. What does this Kaelessa look like again? Her skin is dark, her hair preternaturally white. Her red eyes can see perfectly in the dark, which, to my dismay, I've come to know from experience. But bright light causes her kind pain. I used an alchemical powder that explodes in a dazzling flash, and she cried out as if I had stabbed her. It's clear that this woman is a faithful servant of darkness. The marks that Kaelessa's masters have left on her appearance say as much. Well, I'll let you know if I see her. Good fortune to you." And I think we'll take the episode ending here. In the next episode, we should be heading down into the basement, have a little chat with a good old friend down there. And there are other people that I need to talk to in the tavern, but we can do that later on so that we don't end up with me talking without much action in 2 episodes after one another. For now, if you have any questions and/or comments, then please do feel free to leave those in the comment section below, of course. And I hope that you enjoyed the episode, and that I will see you all in the next one.